Hey, Eagle fans! Your Statesboro Walmart is your one-stop shop for all your Georgia Southern football and game day needs. Pick up your GSU sports gear here. We have t-shirts, hats, tote bags, koozies, stadium bleacher seats, car spirit flags, wall pennants, beads, and more right here at the best prices in town. Also, don't forget we can handle all of your tailgating needs with our great food trays, baked goods, and fresh, high-quality meat, seafood, and chicken.
Walmart. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
On this week's show, we head back to Forest Heights Country Club as we recap this year's Schenkel Invitational. The Eagle football team starts spring drills. Georgia Southern holds their annual Pro Day. And speaking of football, a special guest pays a visit to Hanner Fieldhouse. All this and more as we welcome you inside the Eagles Nest. And welcome inside the Eagles Nest. I'm your host, Josh Aubrey, being joined by Horace Holloman, sitting in for the honeymooning Mike Anthony. Horace, we appreciate you sticking around here. I know you were able to get your feet wet with some Georgia Southern athletics this past week, and hopefully literally not getting your feet wet because they had to play the tournament a little bit sooner than they usually do because of the fact that the rain was rolling in on Sunday. But the Schenkel Invitational taking place at Forest Heights Country Club this past week. Georgia Southern, of course, the host team, the defending champ. Great field as always. The Eagles played really well, probably good enough to win as far as their score was, although there were two teams that kind of separated themselves from the pack.
Yes, Auburn and Vanderbilt kind of ran away with it. I mean, they were kind of neck and neck on day two, but I think that playing those 2 rounds in one day, a little bit of fatigue might have set in, but it was a great tournament. And Georgia Southern, they shot a -21, shot a -14 to win it last year. Auburn won with a -41, so I mean that kind of shows you the level of competition of where it was at. But Southern, they played great. They kind of bounced back from a rough day, had a great second day. So third place, nothing wrong with that.
It was a pretty neat tournament. Obviously, this is one of the bigger events around these parts as far as bringing in big competition. You had Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, Auburn, a lot of teams there. They started things off during the week with a youth clinic, which was nice to see, try to get some youngsters involved.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, just kind of a way to kind of do a little bit of mentorship, and kind of some of the younger kids got experience with some of the older players and got some great tutelage and some great teaching there.
Well, getting back to the event itself, as we mentioned, 2 teams kind of separating themselves on Friday and then just running away on Saturday, Auburn and Vanderbilt. But let's take a look at some of the highlights from this year's Schenkel. The annual Schenkel Invitational getting underway Friday at Forest Heights Country Club. The Georgia Southern Eagles defending champs for the first time ever and coming out pretty strong. Scott Wolfus on the par 5 7th with his 3rd shot up close. He'd birdie from there. More pin hunting on number 8. This one would back up to within 3 feet. Wolfus shot 5 under on the front, but 6 over on the back for a 1 over total. His teammates picking him up though. Kim Koivu coming through with a 2 under 70, good for 17th overall. Henry Mabbitt would lead the way with a 3 under 69 Friday here with a nice chip on 18, setting up birdie. Jake Story would add a 1 under 71. Archer Price led the way for the Eagle golfers playing as individuals as he'd card a 2 under 70. The Eagles finished day 1 in 5th place. Matt Majewski chipped in with an even par 72. They'd wind up in 3rd place overall after an impressive 20 under par, with 3 players placing in the top 25. Koivu in 12th, Majewski in 19th, and Scott Wolfus tied for 24th. As for the other teams, Sunday's forecast for rain pushed the tournament to 36 holes on Saturday. 2 teams running away from the pack, Auburn and Vanderbilt, 2 of the top teams in the nation. The Tigers going into Saturday down 1 stroke, but making up ground in the morning as they'd shoot 269 as a team, giving them a 12-stroke lead over Vanderbilt. Heading into the final 18, the Commodores coming back strong on the final 18 with a 269 themselves, but the Tigers able to hold off to win by 1 stroke a 41 under par total, nearly a tournament record. Auburn claiming the individual title as well. Daniel Stringfellow fired an impressive 12 under par total for his first ever collegiate individual victory as the Auburn Tigers win the 2015 Schenkel.
One more.
We played great the first round, second round. We played great the final round. We kind of leaked a little oil coming down the stretch, but overall, we end up winning the golf tournament, and it'll make us better, I think, in the long run, especially as we go in the postseason. Well, the weather got really good, and the superintendent did a great job. The greens were fantastic, and I can't say enough about the community. What the community does, and what Walt does, and his staff, and and Larry Mays, Coach Mays at Georgia Southern. Just the entire tournament is one of the best in the country.
This is the first college victory ever. I got second place in the fall at a tournament, and this is my last year, so it feels pretty awesome. Before I graduated, I've always dreamed of mine, just win a college tournament, win a PGA tournament, and so far the steps are being completed, yeah. It was a grind on the last few holes. I had to make a couple putts. Ball striking was great the whole day, just the last couple holes. It was a little nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun.
With more than 100 years of experience under one roof, Complete Car Care on 207 Northside Drive can do it all for your car or truck, gas or diesel, even hybrids, motors, tune-ups, front end, air conditioning, transmissions, electrical. Complete Car Care does it all. When others say no, Complete Car Care says yes. Come see what Michael and his team can do for you at Complete Car Care, 207 Northside Drive.
Franklin Toyota is jump-starting 2015 with our biggest savings ever.
Drive Corollas with 0 APR, plus a $1,000 military discount.
Find it at franklintoyota.com. Hurry, everything's on sale at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Well, moving on, the Georgia Southern football team will be in the news over the next few weeks as they prepare for their August 18th spring blue-white game, which will wrap up spring practice. It begins on Wednesday. We'll have updates throughout the next couple of weeks. Earlier in the week, though, Georgia Southern held their pro day, which over the last 2 years has seen a couple of players get big NFL notice, as Jerick McKinnon this past year was a third-round draft pick and had quite a few NFL scouts on hand. This time around, the weather not so great. Had about 6 scouts on hand. Saw a few of the offensive linemen showing out, as well as Edwin Jackson. We had a chance to talk with him, as well as Willie Fritz, about this year's pro day.
Really did it the best that it could for me, coming back and showing these guys what I got. And it's just a great opportunity just to show the love that I have for this game and the hard work that I put in and be able to show it. It's a blessing.
Well, I really think a few of these guys have got an opportunity to play at the next level. And, it's just about the opportunity. You have to have one team like you and give you that chance. And you get that chance, you take advantage of it. Who knows?
Well, as we mentioned, spring football beginning on Wednesday. We had a chance to talk with head coach Willie Fritz about what he expects this time around.
There's some positions that are open. There's some positions that are really competitive. And, this right now, guys are jockeying to get on the bus.
I felt overall, it went pretty good. We still got a lot of improvements to make over the spring. But, feeling it's great to, be back out here. And I feel like the team overall, we look pretty good. We just got to, still clean up a lot of things and get better as spring goes on.
We're definitely motivated, which last year we were motivated to get the chip off our shoulder and prove ourselves in the Sun Belt. And this year we're going to try to repeat. So we got a big hill to climb, and I think we got the team to do it.
Well, staying on the gridiron, and legendary college and football quarterback Archie Manning on the Georgia Southern campus this week, speaking to a large crowd at Hanner Fieldhouse. Prior to that, he had a small press conference where we were able to talk to him about some things, including how important leadership has been in both his career as well as his sons, Eli and Peyton.
I think leadership is an issue that is so important in our country and so important to all of us in every facet of our life and our society today. So football maybe enabled me to get a little jump start. A quarterback is a position on a football team where I think leadership is expected there.
And finally, wrapping things up, the Georgia Southern baseball team able to take 2 out of 3 this past weekend against Arkansas State, currently 6-3 in Sun Belt action and in first place overall. They're tied with Texas State. Georgia Southern dropping the first game Friday in extra innings, not able to get the bats going. Once again, getting some solid pitching performances. Then on Saturday, they ended up playing a doubleheader because of some impending rain coming in on Sunday. Won the first game in extra innings and once again got some solid pitching and able to get some timely hitting as well. And then in the nightcap, they're able to finally get the bats going. Aaron Mizell with a home run amongst others, and got some pretty good pitching as well. Once again, 6-3 in Sun Belt action, tied with Texas State, which is where they'll be heading this weekend, going to go on the road in the next 2 against 2 of the best teams in the league. First, they have Texas State coming up this weekend, and then next weekend they'll be going to Louisiana Lafayette. Good news for the Georgia Southern Eagles. They go on the road to Kennesaw, win their first, believe it or not, midweek game, pounding out 18 hits and getting the victory up in the Atlanta area. Well, that'll wrap things up for now. For Horace Holloman, who joined us, and Mike Anthony, who's honeymooning and will be joining us next week, I'm Josh Aubrey. Thanks for joining us and hope to see you again next week.